Hey, and welcome back to the Springs Radio Real Estate Show. I am your host, Cheryl Garlock with Colorado Front Range Properties. Thank you so much for tuning into our show this week. With me today is Lisa Hernandez with Bear Creek Mortgage. Welcome back to the show, Lisa.
Thank you, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, I am doing great because, you know, the real estate market is heating up and we're all participating in that newfound action, which is great because we haven't had it for quite a while. And for us, we're just in the real estate business. We're excited about it. Aren't you excited about it? You're pretty busy.
Been very excited about it. It's been awesome. So
that is really great. Now, before we get started talking with Lisa here about mortgage money, and I really want you to dial into this one here because it's a real hot topic. You guys probably know rates have sort of gone up and down, but Lisa will share some information with us about that. I do want you to know that if you go to springsradiorealestate.com and you're thinking about protecting your investment future, there is a class called Investing for Your Successful Retirement. You can go ahead and check that out. Just click on the seminars section on springsradiorealestate.com. And also, while Lisa and I are going to be talking here about financing and getting that mortgage, there are a lot of steps that people always ask me about in the home buying process.
Yes.
There's a great class called What You Need to Know to Buy a Home. Again, you can go to that same seminars tab at springsradiorealestate.com and check that one out. So these are both coming up in July here, so you want to go ahead and make sure you take advantage of that. So Lisa, let's go ahead and talk to people here right now about what's going on in the finance world. You know, for a long time, you and I, number one, we're veterans of this business.
Long time.
You're a very active lender. You make loans all the time. I'm a very active realtor. I sell property all the time, work with buyers all the time, and sellers as well. And we have been on a holding pattern with interest rates in these, what I like to call seductive rates.
Very seductive.
Yeah, I mean, really, you know, I've been in the business now 33 years, and I know you've been in at least, 20 plus?
Close to 30 now.
Close to 30. And we have never seen interest rates. The lowest I ever saw them before the last year or so was around 5 and slightly before lower than 5. But we've never seen them in the 3s.
Never. This is unheard of. So absolutely amazing.
And by and large, we have sort of floated up from the 3s to the 4s right now.
Currently in the 4s, yes.
Absolutely. And I'd like to share with everybody why that sort of happened in part. And, you know, if you listen to CNN or CNBC News, Money, whatever it is, it has a lot to do with the Federal Reserve.
Correct. So Bernanke just had a conference last week, which in turn is saying that the economic growth has occurred. So as such, we're kind of getting back into normalcy. And again, those seductive rates, as what you talked about, were teasers in effect for a period of time to get our economy growing. And we are finding that the economy is growing. So as such, they were able to enlarge the rates and make them a little bit higher to stabilize. So
absolutely. And you know, because our economy is growing, and you know, you've heard about some housing results like in California. They're going through the roof again.
It's an all-time high.
It's at an all-time high.
So as such, you know, we have to bring everything back into place because they were low for a reason, just to spur the economy. The economy is now doing well. Friday will come out with jobless rates.
Right.
And that will really be a defining number, so on what the rates will be. But this is more of a realistic.
Yeah.
Again, you know, just like as we spoke about, it's all relative to the market. So it's still an incredible time. I think we always joke about this, Cheryl, I started when rates were 21%, doing adjustable rates at 14.
Yeah.
And I still did 25 loans a month.
Yeah.
So it's all relative to the market. It's just realistic, you know, what the market is dictating. So because of that.
Absolutely, without a doubt there. So, I mean, it really is a great time to buy. And let me tell you why I think it's really a great time to buy, in spite of the interest rates inching up a little bit. Because the property prices in our area have not soared. Okay, they've been sort of stable, not exactly flat. They're inching up tiny bit.
Correct.
But when it comes to the cost of owning a home, would you agree, Lisa, that it's really the cost of owning a home is really more expensive with regards to how high the interest rate is?
Mm-hmm. I concur.
So waiting is not an option.
Right, because it's all relative.
Yeah.
And
So-
actually, rents right now, and we've talked about this before, Cheryl, rents are higher than what you could own. So, I mean, that's a known fact.
And you know, I'll tell you, speaking of rents, I got to tell you, I just watched the news, our local news the other night here, and they were actually bringing on an episode or whatever, you know, they call it, about the rental market here, and that the rents are going through the roof.
They're going through the roof. So
Yeah.
why would you want to rent when you can own with very little down?
Right.
So
See, and now this gets right into this localism here and the market here. Why are the rents going through the roof right here? Well, okay, you got 500 families plus that are displaced from housing.
300 from last year that might not be moving back in. Or
Yeah.
military growth is always huge.
Yeah.
So it's a very great place to own non-owner occupied rental investment property.
That's right, absolutely. So, and now we did have some military news earlier this week here about losing some, but we're gaining some more there because you still have this aviation brigade coming on in as well.
Correct.
So that's it. So now is the absolute time to take advantage of the market while you can.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, you're going to be surprised when you had that. I always like to comment about that VA woulda, shoulda, coulda. You know, yeah.
But it's all relative. So
Yeah.
it really is. So it's still great. I mean, it changes a couple of dollars. So in the big scheme of things compared to the benefit of your tax write-off. So.
Absolutely, you really want to take advantage of that. So rates are going to be going up and down just a little bit, don't you think?
Still very volatile right now.
Very volatile.
So.
And really when you're in this marketplace and the market is starting to get back to that sense of normalcy as we talk about it, really we're talking about watching those interest rates every day.
Oh, every minute.
Yeah. Well, because, most of our listeners don't know that your rate quote for today can actually change by the end of the day.
Oh, yes, very much so. We can have as many as five different rate changes in a day.
That's right. And why is that? That's because they're tied to the bond market.
Correct. So, in the market and the news in the industry and what things are going on.
So does this mean it's harder to qualify, Lisa? What do you think?
Not really. So, as I said, when you're amortizing over a 30-year period, Cheryl, the numbers change very slightly. So it's not a huge difference. So don't be in a panic mode from 3.25 to 4 right now, somewhere around there.
Right.
It's so small in comparison. Sometimes for people who are tight in qualifying, that could be the case, but really it isn't.
Well, we got more to share with you on the Springs Radio Real Estate Show, and I've got to tell you, Lisa's going to stay with us, and she's going to answer some more questions, because I got a bundle coming her way during the course of the show. Stay tuned for more of the Springs Radio Real Estate Show. I'll be right back. Get your paper and pen ready for Property Showcase, because I got a few properties to talk to you about. We'll be right back.